KidNuz fans, tired of advertisements? We get it, but we also have to keep the lights on. There's a way around them, though. Parents can join Starglow Plus on Apple Podcasts or at starglowmedia.com/subscribe to ditch the commercials and unlock access to future bonus episodes and other exclusive content from the Starglow Media Network. That's Starglow Plus on Apple Podcasts or at starglowmedia.com/subscribe. Now, on to the news.
Good morning and welcome to Kid News. I'm Tori. It's Friday, April 5th, 2024, our last day of spring break and our last day of our Best of series. Today, our focus is on tech. And we begin with a new supersonic passenger plane nicknamed the Son of Concorde. With the debut, the agency hopes to jumpstart the return of super-fast commercial flight, minus the sonic boom of the original sound barrier-breaking Concordes of the 1980s and 90s. That noise was so alarming that the planes were allowed to go supersonic only over water, not land. The new version cruises at a speed of 937 miles an hour, slower than the original, but still 176 miles an hour faster than the speed of sound, which means it can zip from London to New York in under 4 hours. The noise difference is in the design. It has a long, thin, tapered nose to break up shock waves, reducing the boom to a thunder-like rumble. NASA will fly the aircraft over select U.S. cities later this year to gauge reaction. Artificial intelligence may be the tech of the future, but it's also helping bring history to life. Using AI, a young computer scientist at the University of Kentucky read 2 ancient scrolls that were burned in a volcanic eruption nearly 2,000 years ago. The papyrus scrolls from Mount Vesuvius are still rolled up and are so fragile that if anyone tried to unroll them, they would turn to dust, according to BBC. 3D X-ray images of the material were released last year as part of a competition to see if anyone could decipher the ancient Greek writing. The first one to succeed was 21-year-old Luke Farator, who won a $40,000 prize, and the first word he uncovered on the scrolls was purple. Speaking of AI, major tech companies are pledging to crack down on deep fakes that could undermine the integrity of democratic elections this year, both in the U.S. and overseas. Google, Meta, TikTok, and others have said they would join forces to create tools that will detect and root out any videos, audio, and images that alter or impersonate important political candidates and election officials. One example, during New Hampshire's primary election in January, AI created robocalls mimicking President Biden's voice tried to discourage people from voting. But critics say tech companies can't be trusted to regulate themselves, and more needs to be done to hold them accountable. It's a quantum leap for science. IBM has announced the release of the largest quantum computer yet, giving a huge boost to a technology that reportedly can solve extremely complex problems in the blink of an eye. According to 60 Minutes, current computers hold information in 2 states, like either heads or tails, whereas quantum computers encode information on electrons, which can be heads, tails, and everything in between, all at the same time. This new way of computing will reportedly tackle problems in minutes that would take today's most powerful computers millions of years to complete, if at all. But there is a downside. Quantum computers have to be kept in super cold conditions to maintain their accuracy, which means that quantum smartphone you're hoping for is probably not coming anytime soon. The standard advice if your smartphone falls in the bath or a pool is to quickly cover it in some dry rice to suck out the moisture. But tech experts say that's just an urban myth. In fact, small particles from the rice could damage your device. Instead, Apple says if you get a liquid detection alert on your iPhone, immediately unplug it and tap it gently against your hand with a connector facing down. Then leave the phone in a cool, dry area with some airflow for at least 30 minutes, though it may take up to a day before it's fully dried out. Tech repair company Assurion did add if you happen to have some of those silica gel packets that come inside new products, put them and your device in a sealed plastic bag for 1 to 2 days, and that could do the trick. Still to come, a crunch-canceling technology for super loud snackers. But first, our KidNuz quiz. What was the first word found on ancient papyrus scrolls? Purple. What is the nickname of NASA's new supersonic passenger plane? Son of Concorde. Major tech companies are pledging to crack down on what? AI-generated deep fakes involving elections. According to Apple, how long might it take for an iPhone to fully dry out after getting wet? Up to a day. In our KidNuz Kicker, Doritos is putting the kibosh on crunching using artificial intelligence. The company has created Doritos Silent, a new crunch cancellation technology that silences the sound of gamers, remote workers, or anyone that uses headphones. According to the Washington Post, the software operates on anything that accepts a microphone and works by recognizing crunching sounds and blunting them. Company officials say creating Doritos Silent proved much easier than trying to create a new chip with less crunch, and also achieved a compromise allowing gamers to enjoy their favorite snacks without annoying others. Before we go, shout-outs to our KidNuz classrooms, Ms. Mary Catherine and her pizza and pasta-loving students at Bilingual European School in Milan, Italy, Mrs. Depew and her Lions at Parker School in Houston, Texas, and Mrs. Brown and her Quad Squad at Oakdale School in Edmond, Oklahoma. Thanks for listening during our spring break week. Have a great weekend. Our team will be back in the studio with a fun, fresh episode of KidNuz Monday morning.